Put my camera in here. Righto, so I'm doing the fins. Righto, so what I'm doing here, I'm marking for my template. I've got my own jig I made for FCS1, and I try and make it foolproof. So I have to see that circle through the whole of my jig to line it up properly. That way you hopefully never make a mistake. Right, so what I do, got my FCS1 jig, and that line I have to see that hole in here. So if I'm like this, I'm in the wrong spot. It's got to be right here. So I'll line that up there. Easy. Let's get my tape, a 2-inch tape. This way it never moves, okay? It only takes a second to put the tape on. There we go. So that holds the jig in place perfectly. Now let's get my router. Now I go down the height of a plug. That should do it. Tighten that up. Now routing's the best way. Sorry, but I'll undo this. I don't need that cord. That could stay there. Now routing. Turn her on in the hole. Out. Righto, so what I've done here, I'm scratching my head, I've rounded out the hole, okay? Go like that. Get rid of my tape. Straight in the bin. Clean as you go. Next hole. Put that on here. Okay, line up that line and that line. Hold it down. Put your tape on, hold it down, put your tape on. This holds it in all directions, okay, one corner. Then turn on your router. Right. Next hole, done. Now the center. Line this up, there. Center on the center. This one I tape up a bit different. Put one across here, because the stringer will try and fight you a little bit, so you don't want that to happen. And I'll go up here and here. Now this template's not going to move, okay? Do the stringer, cut through it. Up. Two more sets of holes. Now, FCS2 is a system that sits on foam. Let me tell you why that's, and futures, why they are pretty shit ideas. See the foam there? Now watch my finger. And watch this. This won't make any difference. Watch how easy this foam moves. Ready? Watch that thing. See how it just moves so easy? There's no strength in the foam to hold plugs. That's why you got to attach it to the deck, okay? It's like a fin box. Where are we? Where's my mute? There it is. It's like a fin box. In the Surf Life Saving surfboards, the fin box has no stringer underneath it, right? That's why you have to put a hard block of Cledgecel in, otherwise the boxes break. Okay, you drop them on the ground and the fin pops in the board. That problem's been around for 40 years with Surf Life Saving boards, even longer. Now, FCS1, when they made them, they decided to go all the way through to the deck to stop that problem. That's why they are the best system in the world. Now, I'll just route this. Now, I was using a couple of those systems, and then what happened was I had a couple of boards come back where they hit something and it crushed into the foam. And then one day I was routing out the futures box, and then my router bit exploded and went through the wall, and I went, no, I ain't doing that. You don't have to do that with FCS1. And I'm not risking getting the thing spinning at 10,000 revs per minute breaking just to get the box out. So it's a flawed system, it really is. Now, you can say, oh no, they're unreal. No, they're not. Just because Kelly or John or someone like that says it's great, you got to understand these guys are getting paid for it. These guys don't repair them. These guys don't repair them, they do fuck all, they go surfing, okay? So when you start believing stuff with board making, listen to board makers, okay? That's what I'm sort of saying. Now, and as well, just remember that guys like Kelly and John and all the crew of that crew, they love what's that thing, Chinese made products. Absolutely love it, they do. Now I'm just seeing which one it was. There it is. Sorry, there's my bit. They love Chinese made products, so they have no problems paying someone you know, not enough money so I'm always a bit against that sort of thing. So I believe everyone should get the same amount of money. So that's what you got to understand. These people are getting paid money. Well, you call it blood money because it's made by people that are getting underpaid. So now this is attached to the deck, and I know it's not what people like to think. They like to think world champions are all fluffy and unreal and everything, but no, they exploit other human beings, and I don't know, I can't live with that. That's why I use Australian made products. That's exactly why I get my fins made in Australia. Everything's made in Australia. My cloth, my resin, my plugs. So I'm just making sure this is attached perfectly to the deck. This is where all the strength is, because it's attached to the deck. Now the reason they go for these other fin systems is they're getting shit made in China and they haven't got the skills to put in these plugs properly. That's why they made it for the lowest common denominator. You got to understand, some of these people in these factories haven't even seen the ocean. They haven't even seen surfing. They're just like peasants that are exploited. There you go. So that's that. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is blow that out. All the way through to the deck. Now, as you can see, they're put all the way through to the deck, okay? Maximum strength. Now I'm just going to put the leg rope plug in. Adjust this to the leg rope plug height. Yeah, so a lot of people will blindly go and follow whatever these people do, but get rid of that. Right, there's my leg rope hole done. Now I'm going to put my leg rope in first. Just even that up a touch, or a touch out. There we go. I like it to look perfect. Sometimes the jig moves a couple of microns and you just clean it up like that. You want the circle to be perfect. And that's what I'm doing here. There. Now, leg rope's going to fit in here like this. Perfect. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to stick my rubbers on. Now, here's an example about practicing what you preach. Okay, these I got made in Australia. Okay, all the other companies get their shit done in China. I got a mold made up which presses this shape into there by Precision Foam in Sydney, and cost me about 500 bucks I think for the mold, the cutter, and these are made in Australia. Okay, so this is the sort of thing that most companies get made in China, like deck grips and all that sort of stuff, but you can get it made in Australia. Okay, don't believe the thing that you can't, you can. It's amazing what these companies will lie about to say they're morally right, you know. They're not morally right, they're way morally wrong. So no, humans are exploited making my thingamajiggers. I could have got them made in China, but no thanks. Don't want to go down that path and be like former world champions and all that who pretend to be, you know, the bee's knees when they're just fucking criminals. And that is the case. Like, people that get shit made in China are not, you know, they're like fucking human rights criminals. Let's be honest. And unfortunately, people that use those products, when you look at what you use, you got to understand what you support. You know, so this is why you can get your wetsuits made in Australia, you can get your leg ropes, you can get your board covers, you can get everything made in Australia. And part of, so I'm just going to change my mask. For a second, I don't need this on anymore. So I'll just take the camera off here. Go, unplug that. I'm trying to be clever and do it one hand. Go. Just take the fan forced air off. And I'll put my there we go. I understand it's a bit jumpy. Okay. Back on. Got my band strap on. Righto, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this plug in, leg rope plug, but I'm just going to seal around the inside of the tip of my boxes, because what happens, you do get like a shattery type thing when resin gets fractured a fraction. It's not a bad thing, but An easy way to fix it, it's a little trick. When I put the leg rope plug in, I do the one mix. So, a bit of hardener, stir it in. Righto. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to get my brush. Now just around here, I'm just going to put a bit of styrene around the inside of my plugs. There we go, a bit of styrene around there. And what that does is, if there's any shatters or anything like that, this gets into it. Then I get a bit of resin, wet my brush a little bit, and I just put a little bit of resin around here. You don't have to do this, okay? This is something that I just don't want my boards looking shit house. So I put that little bit of resin around there, and where there's a little shatter from when I drilled it with the drill bit, it soaks in all around that edge. So it makes it perfectly clear again, because sometimes it goes a fraction white. And it only takes a second to do. You know, these are little things that, there. See where I drilled with the bit, it's all perfect now. Now, I've got my bit of resin here. I'm going to turn it into some white, put a bit of white pigment in, and I'm going to put a little bit of milled fibre in. This is what makes it really strong. Without milled fibre, resin is weak as piss. Bit of my white pigment. There we go. Don't need much. That's all. Take that one out. There, now stir this in, and this is my mix for plugs. Not wasting that initial bit of resin. So that's got milled fibre, white pigment. Now, you can see that bit of resin I put around the edge of the hole. Okay, that's now made it all perfectly clear. I won't have any white shatters. You mainly only see it on coloured boards. That's why most of the pros boards are all just white. It's amazing what you can hide. Now get my leg wrap plug. Should have one here. Where are they? Plugs, 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 plugs. Oh, in here it is, sorry. It was in the box, I didn't even realise it. There it is. It's my bag of stuff. And you can see that's on a slight angle because where it comes down. So all I do, I just get my roll of tape or something just to lift it up an inch. Put a bit of tape there. And now that's level. It's not going to roll out the back. Always put your pin against the stringer. That way it can never pull out. Okay, because it sits against the timber. That's why you put it against the stringer. The pin can never work its way out. Okay, so that's there. I've got that set in nicely. That's straight. Yep, that looks pretty darn good. Now just put that extra bit of resin around the front. Just a drop here. There we go. So you don't want air around your stringer. Get rid of this excess. It can go in there. Now just check this one more time. Just moved a little bit, which as it does. Yeah, that's perfectly straight, perfectly set in. Happy with that. Clean my hands. And I'll go and have a cuppa and then come back and put the plugs in the bottom. Okay, so first part done. Plug is beautiful. Okay, I'll be back. Now just turn this off.